Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's series on how to own your crown. And today I'm talking specifically about let's talk about respect. Let's talk about respect, baby, because what we are focusing on now is how can we respect our crown? Last week I was telling you about the whole process of going from hating your crown all the way through to, if possible, loving your crown. And I know that that's a step-by-step process, and for you to actually get to that point, there's going to be things that you're going to have to do. So we're going to start off very simply by focusing on the first bit, which is let's talk about respect. How do we get to the point of respecting your hair? Because if we can get to the point of respecting your hair, then we can possibly move forward into accepting your hair. Now, I kid you not, it is a journey, and it is a journey that's going to take time. It's going to take patience. It's going to take courage, and it's going to take willingness. There's so many things that you are going to have to, empower yourself to do, even in the periods when you don't feel like doing it, in order to be able to move forward. So this is not a scenario where I'm saying to you that, guys, this is very easy to do. For some people, some of the stages may well be easier than others, but we're going to take it step by step. And today's purpose is really about moving you from that position of I hate everything about me, I hate everything about my hair, to closer to the point where we can go, okay, I can respect my hair. And it doesn't mean that after today you will be there, but you will be on your journey. And if you follow me continuously, week by week, you will get there. I just want to put a caveat that I am not a therapist in that sense. So it's not like I've done any training in relation to therapy. So I'm not here on a therapy perspective. I'm here mainly on things that have worked for me. So this whole program that I've put together has helped me in my journey. And it's been the step-by-step process that I have taken to be able to go from where I was before to where I am standing in front of you or sitting in front of you today. And I'm not there yet. So, along the way, you will catch up with where I am, and then we'll both work on the journey for the rest of the road together. But so far, I have been on this journey for over a year, and I have, made lots and lots of improvement in myself, in my confidence. I have gone from a position of where I haven't wanted to leave the house, haven't wanted to do anything, where I didn't feel I was confident enough, I didn't feel like I was strong enough to do anything, to the position where I am now. And as you can see at the moment, I am wearing my own natural hair out, and 6 months ago, I probably would not do this. And it's not to say that I haven't got a little bit of help, because I've got a little bit of help to give me the volume and things like that. But I've got to a position where I can actually look in the mirror and go, yeah, I accept the way I am. I haven't got to the point where I'm saying to you that I love how I look. I love everything about me or everything about my hair. I'm not yet at that stage. Whether I will get to that stage is another thing as well. However, I am on that journey to determine whether at the end of that road I can say, yes, I love the way I am now and just leave it as I am, or whether I need some additional help. But where I am in this whole journey is I'm at the point where I have accepted my new me. And I want to take you at least to that journey. And then if you want to continue the ride with me to the point of, can we actually get to the point where we love our hair or love our crown? That is a journey that I have not yet finished, and we can walk that journey together. So let me start off with, let's talk about respect. So today, I've got some slides to show you. So the first thing I want to show you is the first thing when it comes to talking about, respect for your hair and getting to the point where you can actually have respect for your crown is identifying where you are. So where are you at this point in time? How do you feel about yourself? This is not about naming and shaming everything, but it's really about having that conversation with yourself to say, this is how I truly feel, and it's also about looking at where you were, because there was a point in your life where everything was rosy, where everything was great in relation to the way you look, in relation to your hair, in relation to the styles that you have. You had a specific look that you were used to seeing, and you were comfortable and confident with that look. Now, in order for you to be able to look to see, okay, where you are, you need to be able to look back and say to yourself, well, where was I? Where was I when I was in my happy moments? Where was I when my confidence level was up? What was I doing? What did I look like? Go and look at photos of yourself, Look back at the photos of yourself, what you look like. I've done this time and time again. I've looked at my photos. I've looked at right from when I was at university all the way through, and I've looked at some of the photos and I've gone, oh wow, they weren't so great. At the time, I thought that I looked the business, and and that's the beauty about it. It's not really about how you actually look, it's about how you feel you look. And I thought that I felt at the time that I looked great. Looking back at it, I'm thinking, well, I wasn't looking so great, but I have got other photos that I've looked at, and I've thought to myself, you were on top of your game here. You looked awesome. You looked beautiful. You were confident. And I hold those pictures in my hand to say, this is where I was. Because where you are now, what you tend to do is you're going to over-exaggerate the bad times. You're going to over-exaggerate how you look now, because you're going to be looking and thinking oh, well, I wish I looked like this. And truthfully, sometimes what you're wanting to look like actually is not the same as how you look like now. Things have changed. You've gone older. You've changed shape. Everything about you has changed, and it's really about how do we move forward into becoming our new self. So what I tend to do is not only talk about not only look at where I was or how I am now, but I also look to say, well, what was the root cause? What is the root cause of me being where I am now? And and it's very easy at this point, especially if you're angry. If you're angry, honestly, you can just write realms and realms of the root cause. And I blamed my hair. For me, it was my hair. It was like, you know what? My hair's not great. I've got fine hair, and I had this distaste towards my hair, because I felt like it should be doing something different. And if you want to do this exercise, I urge you that this is going to really, really help you if you do this exercise, because you really need to be able to determine who is the enemy here. Who are you mad at? Who is the person, or what is the thing that you're looking at and you're thinking, I don't like you? You are the cause of all my issues. If it wasn't because of you, I would be much better. If it wasn't because of you, I'd have more confidence. If it wasn't because of you, I'd be able to walk out and feel like, I'm on top of the world. So in order to do this exercise, all you need to do is grab a pen and paper and have 3 columns. Now, I'm just going to show you an example of what I did. So essentially, the 3 columns are: where was I, where am I, and what's the root cause. And where I was is like, I was a young woman, I was outgoing, I was friendly, I had confidence, I was trendy, I had some awesome clothes that I would wear all the time. But where I am now, and this is going back like 6-7 months ago, where am I? And I was like, I felt old. I was disinterested in a lot of things. I didn't really want to go out. I didn't want to do things. I was stressed. I literally had no confidence. I was sluggish. And I was self-conscious. Now, my self-consciousness was probably the biggest thing, because I was so focused about how I looked or how other people would look at me that I just didn't put my head up. I used to walk down the streets with my head down, and I would only really put it up for as a front. So what people saw is they saw this person that was my self, my prior self, which was confident, trendy, but actually I had no confidence and I did feel sluggish, and my self-conscious was through the roof. I just felt so conscious about everything that I did. Now, and what was my root cause? I pinned everything that on my fine hair. And literally it was when, my hair did go fine when I was 35 years old. It impacted on me in a way, but then I started to wear wigs and things like that. So I didn't really notice it at that point until I took my decision to take the wigs off. And at that point, that was when my lifestyle and my well-being and everything got impacted, because I was like, well, what am I going to do now? I don't particularly want to wear the wigs because it's kind of hiding who I am. I want to reconnect with my actual self, but I didn't feel like I could, because the person that I looked like in the mirror wasn't the person that I wanted to be. And to be honest, when I was in my heyday, I wore wigs. So I've never really actually had my natural hair out and felt like I was 100% awesome, because I either had an extensions in, or I had wigs in, or I had something to boost up the way I looked. But it was only when I came to the conclusion that, wigs was not an option for me anymore, or not a continuous option for me anymore, that I had to face the reality. And that was when things started to go wrong, and when I felt like I was older than I actually was, when I was disinterested in things, like I wouldn't really go out, I wouldn't go to places. I was without a partner for a long time. I was stressed continuously. I, sunk myself into my work, because that was kind of like my only way of being relevant, or even feeling relevant. And I blamed my hair. Now, once you can get to that position and to that point, you are actually onto a winner, because now you know exactly where you're targeting all your aggression, all your concerns, all your feelings, all your negativity. You're targeting it at your hair. Now, so I know, or I felt at that point, the culprit was my hair, because why should I have fine hair? Because people that are beautiful, that are confident, that are trendy, that are young, they don't have fine hair. Fine hair is a sign of someone going old. So all of these things was what I looked at. Now, if you can get to the point where you can do exactly what I've done, and it doesn't matter, whether you do it in a nice spreadsheet, or you just take a notepad and you do it in that sense, no matter how you do it. But the key thing is that you do it. The key thing is that you go backwards to where you were, you look at where you are now, and you identify what you believe to be the root cause of it, because it's now the root cause that we're going to be working with moving forward. And one thing that I would say is that, if you can't identify what the root cause is, then go back, because there's got to be a reason as to why you feel the way you feel. And whether that root cause is right or wrong is irrelevant at this point. The key thing is that there's got to be something you've got to tag it onto. There's got to be something that you've got to say, it's because of this, it's because of that. That's the reason why I feel this way. That's the reason why my confidence has gone. That's the reason why I'm sluggish. That's the reason why I'm so self-conscious of everything. I'm sat on the seat, for instance, and I'm not a tall person, so I'm constantly thinking that somebody's looking on top of my scalp and seeing my scalp and looking at it and thinking, oh, that looks horrible. So I'm self-conscious of all these things. And if my hair was thicker, if I had better hair, if I had longer hair, if I was able to do the things that I wanted to do with my hair, then I wouldn't feel all these things, and life will be so much better. And that's how I came to that conclusion. Now, once you've done that, take as long as you need. Doesn't have to be done in a day. It could be done within a week. You could do it in a month. Doesn't matter how long, but go through that process. You may even cry at some of these things. So you might even take a photo like I did of one of my hairstyles that I had, and how I looked, had put everything together. And I looked at myself and I was like really bitter, because I thought, well, why can't I look like that again? Why do I have to look like the way I look at this moment in time? And I was like reminiscing on all those things, and what I did, and who I was with, and all of those kind of things. I was reminiscing, and then I take a shot and look back at myself. When you do this exercise, also do it in front of the mirror. Don't try and think about where I am outside of the mirror, because your brain is a fantastic, fantastic God-given structure which actually memorizes things. And sometimes what it memorizes is, things that's blown out of proportion. So when you tap into your memory, you may not even be looking at yourself. You'll be looking at a image of yourself, and you've got this tendency of blowing things out of proportion. And suddenly you're thinking that where you are is worse than where you actually should be, because you're looking at yourself and you're thinking about your hair and you're thinking, oh, my hair is absolutely awesome, not wonderful, but it's awful, and the way you look is awful. But when you actually look in the mirror, you see yourself, and you can see 100% what you do look like. And then you can start to make that conversation with yourself to say, okay, so where am I? Where am I? How do I look? How do I feel? What do I want to do? Do I have any high points? Am I constantly miserable? Is there anything in my hair that that I can actually salvage? Which brings me on to the next thing that you need to do. Because once you've done the first thing and you've done that right, and you've tagged a root cause, then you're going to move on to the next section. And the next section is, what is the actual relational concept? And when I talk about the relational concept, is how do I link what I want to actually what it should be? So basically, in my scenario, what I've done is I've linked all my emotions and everything, and I've tagged it onto my hair. And because the root cause is my hair, like if my hair was thicker, it would be better. If my hair was longer, it would be better. If my hair was less curly and not this afro frizz, it would be better. Because essentially what I'm now doing is I'm now attaching what I want my hair to do. But I've got to ask myself the question, well, what is the purpose of my hair? What is it actually created to do? And that's what you need to look at. So what is the purpose? And I don't expect that you should just ask yourself this question. Google it. Go online and just Google, what is the purpose of hair? What is the hair? Why do you have hair on your head? What is it there for? Google it. Find out what the actual purpose of hair is, purpose of the hair on the head. Because once you've done that, then you'll be able to say, well, actually, this is what the purpose of my hair is, but this is what I want it to do. So now you have a differentiation. So it may well be the things that you want it to do is totally different to what it's there for. One of the things that you might say, for example, is that, I hate my hair color. I absolutely hate my hair color. Why is my hair this color? Why is it not this color? Again, Google it. Google why are some people's hair dark? Why are some people's hair light? Why are some people's hair curly? Why are some people's hair straight? Google it. Get the reason. Get the actual truth behind it. Because once you've got the truth behind it, you'll start to understand the reasons as to why your hair is there. And once you know it, then you can then match the two together and ask yourself, well, what is the difference? What is the difference between what my hair is for and what I want it to do? So coming back to the exercise, again, I would urge you, write this down. Everything that you're doing, write it down, because when you write it down, you make it plain. When you make it plain, it's a lot easier for you to impart on your emotions, so the way in which you feel, because when it's all in here, you're not, it gets blown out of proportion. But when it's written down, you can actually look at it from a different perspective. So for example, when I've Googled it, I've looked at the purpose of hair. Essentially, it's to cover my scalp, protect my scalp from the sun. It also acts as a heat insulation and a cooling system. These are some of the things that I did not know. I didn't know that it did all these things. But when I look at what I want, well, I'm wanting my hair to make me look beautiful. I want my hair to be easy to manage because my hair's afro and it's really, really tight. And I wanted looser curls rather. These are the things that I want my hair to be like. But actually, the purpose of my hair has got no relation to what I want it to be, to what I want it to do. So therefore, there is a differentiation. So I'm beating my hair and my scalp on the head and saying, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? In actual fact, it's been created to do something else. Now, I'm not saying take my words as crystal. What I'm saying is that go and do your research, because the power is in the research that you do. It's not about It's not about the sound of my voice. It's not about nodding your head at this point. It's about you going off and doing your research, because when you do your research, you will start to uncover things that you didn't know before. And you'll start to realize that actually it's not my hair that I'm mad at. What I'm upset about is that I don't feel beautiful anymore. I don't like the fact that my hair is so tough. I don't like the fact that I've got tight curls when I want looser curls, but that's got nothing to do with my hair. This is more about my preference, how I want to look. And that's a totally different thing that we can tackle with. But first of all, I need to be able to go to ground roots and start to focus on, well, how can I actually, acknowledge what my hair has done for me, what my crown has done for me. How can I acknowledge that and accept that that's what it's there for, and therefore, dissociate the feelings that I have about my hair so I can move forward in the direction that I need to move forward about, okay, I don't feel great at this point. I don't feel beautiful, but how do I now get to the position where I do feel beautiful? And there's so many things that one can do, which takes it away from the hair, absolutely a million miles away from the hair. And it opens up doors that you didn't think you had before. So when you write these things down, you will start to look like, actually what I want and the purpose of my hair are two different things. And that brings you to the third thing that you need to focus on, which is the realignment process. So really what this is about is adjusting your thinking pattern. Now you've got to change the way you think. How you've associated your crown and your hair to, to the way you look was actually not necessarily the right thing to do. But what is really important is the purpose for what your hair is. And now, for example, I now know that my hair was there to protect my scalp from the sun. Now I have an issue because haven't got the hair that I had before, and therefore my scalp isn't protected. I need to sort that out. I tell you, it's very difficult for you to look after your own hair when you hate it. Very difficult to look after your scalp when you hate your hair. And these are the things. But when you acknowledge what your hair is for and realize that actually my hair can no longer do the things that it was created for, now I have to step up and start to focus on that. And I need to now bring positivity onto my hair, onto my scalp, and make it the best that it possibly can be. And then I can focus on the other things. Then I can focus on the things that I'm now lacking because of the thing that my hair was doing for me, and it didn't even realize that that was what it was doing. And that's the thing. And what you now need to do is dissociate your feelings. So dissociate the feelings that you've got towards your hair and what you want it to do, and take it as two separate things. Some of you may have fine hair. Some of you may be at the point where, you've got alopecia. There's so many different points that you will be at, but you need to be able to embrace the scenario that you have and go, actually, you know what? I respected my hair. I respect the position that I'm in. I respect the fact that it's been able to do all these things without me even requesting for it. And I now acknowledge that I now have an action to do. When you're older in life, by default, you'd expect certain things to not work as much. Just as you'd expect, maybe your mobility might not be as quick as you are. You might not build muscle in the same way as you build it normally. So in the same way, your hair may not respond in the same way as you expect it to respond. By all means, it doesn't mean not to go down the route and try and see whether you can get it to respond. But essentially, what you need to do is work with two separate things. One is about how you feel, how you look, focusing on that and working with that. And the other thing is about your hair itself and your scalp, and how do I look after my scalp? How do I make sure that those things are intact? How do I make sure that, if I go to a hot country, my scalp is still protected? How do I make sure that all the elements that it's supposed to do are still being done? And these two things you can do side by side. But first of all, you've got to get to that position of respect. And now, once you can dissociate your feelings, you can focus on the two separately. And now what you need to do is establish and reconfirm or confirm your situation. And if I will go back to the slides that I was talking about before, so if I go backwards, let me go backwards, just through. And where I had put my root cause being, my hair went fine when I was 35 and it's impacted on my lifestyle and my well-being. And I look at that statement, I asked myself the question, why did my hair impact it? And the answer to that is because I put all my focus on the root cause on my hair, whereas in fact, it wasn't my hair that caused the issue. I was the one that made my hair the center of attention. I was the one that focused on bringing my hair into my beauty. I was the one that did that. And maybe I didn't do it on my own because society allows that. A society is the one that says, if you've got thick hair, that's the way we need to go. It's all about our thick hair. It's all about our volume. The more voluminous your hair is, the better looking you are. Society is created, and we've just nodded our head and gone, yeah, that's true. But essentially, the key thing is actually how healthy is your scalp? How healthy is your hair? I may not have much, but is it healthy? Is it healthy? Because if it's not healthy, then you've lost the battle already. So I now need to dissociate my feelings and go, actually, you know what? I've got work to do. I respect my scalp, which is the point which I was able to get to. I've got work to do with my scalp, and I've got to look after my scalp and make sure that my scalp is okay. And I've got to also understand that I can no longer rely on the hair that I have on my head to make me feel beautiful, to make me look beautiful in the manner in which the way I've defined beauty as. And I also need to recognize that I've got two options. I can either go backwards, i.e., I want to look like how I looked before, or I can go forward and say, well, actually, how can I now look? Now I've got choices. And you can go down both routes. You can look at one route and say, okay, can I actually get to the position where I looked like before? Yes or no? What's that going to look like? Or actually, you know what? That's how I look like then. I looked different when I was 16 to when I was in my 20s to when I was in 30s. And now in my 40s, maybe I can look different still. And you look forward in that. And now what are my options moving forward? But what you've done is you've actually dissociated that whole thing about putting everything onto your fine hair. And you've now gone, okay, I can see there's two things here, two things in play. The first is my hair, my scalp. I need to look after that. I need to make sure that's okay, which is where your respect for your scalp comes to. If you cannot respect your hair, the hair that you have, then you might as well cut it all off. You might as well do that. Then you've got no hair to respect. But if you don't want to go down that route, then we start off by moving away from the root cause is my hair, because my hair caused it, to actually moving forward to going, actually, you know what? I understand that my hair can no longer do the things that I wanted it to do because it wasn't designed to do that. It was something that I imposed on it. And now that it's not doing it, I respect it for what it's done. And now I'm going to continue to ensure that it's healthy because I now know I need to do certain things. But in addition to that, I'm now going to focus on what it is I need to do to make me feel good from the inside out. And that is where we're going to stop today. So you've got exercise, you've got homework to do, and the homework is literally where was I? Where am I? What's my root cause? And also, what is the purpose? If you don't do anything, Google what is the purpose of my hair? You know, start to get some education about hair itself. And then ask yourself, what is it I was wanting? And you will see that there's going to be a difference. And once you notice that there's a difference, then you know that you're dealing with two different things. You can't resolve it with the same brush, two different brushes. And once you've done that, then you move into the third thing, which is adjust your thinking pattern. Change the way which you think, dissociate your feelings, establish and reconfirm your situation. Now, this realignment is probably the most difficult thing for you to do. So what I'm going to do the next time is go into a little bit more detail as to how we can do this. The first two things you can easily do, that's not a problem. But this third one, when we're talking about taking away and dissociating our feelings, adjusting our thinking pattern, and reconfirming or confirming or establishing what our actual situation is, could take longer. So we're going to spend some time next week on just that topic. So this has been awesome. And if you've got any questions, I know this is not live today because we had an issue with Facebook, so we couldn't deliver it live. But do put your notes on the comments section, and I will get back and I will respond to each and every one of them as I can. But the key thing is, about moving forward. And I know that if you continue to follow what I have to say to you, it has definitely helped me. And I believe that it's going to help you. I believe it's going to bless you. And I believe that it's going to help you move from your situation, wherever you are, to a better situation where you want to be, to enable you to make the right decisions and not make the mistakes that so many of us have made in the past and spent a lot of money on things that have not worked for us. We need to start to move in the right direction, get our strategy in place so that we can move forward and we can, be happier internally. Okay, guys, that's all for today. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.